Apparently, Baal worship is still a thing. Hey there, it's Tom's Talk Show, and just seeing some things that are going on right now. I know that evil is alive and well in the world, but it's filtering into pretty much everything, as we can see from the woke companies creating woke, especially things like Disney, who's gone so hyper woke on everything and has to put their ideologies and everything else and destroy every property that they get a hold of as they move forward. Just insanity. But I was watching some things today and came across on Twitter this right here. This is from this guy, Drew Hernandez. I hadn't really seen him much before, but he is showing this video. I'm not going to play it because I don't even want to have anything to do with it at all. So this is a woman who is creating an altar to place her murdered child in a cup on the altar with some sage and some tarot cards. I mean, sage is, basically, obviously an element of Satan worship. Tarot cards is directly devised by Satan to fool people, just like astrology is something devised by Satan to just lead people off. All this craziness. She has got to have little candles and little incense and everything else. Just craziness. I can't even believe, how people, it goes back to like how disconnected we are from our food, right? I mean, I grew up and my grandparents had horses and some cattle, and we were able to go up there and you can see the cattle being born. You can see, okay, this one's getting big enough. Okay, boom, they're going to take it off. It's going to go to the slaughterhouse. Then it comes back. You take it down there, and then you bring it back, and then it's steaks that you pile into the freezer and hamburger and everything else, and that okay, this animal that's sitting here is going to be, taken and processed, and at the butcher shop and everything else, and torn down into meat for us to consume. Well, we've kind of done the same thing with, childbearing, right? We're completely disconnected and from the fact that this was, some crazy thing that was done back in, in history. In this whole crazy thing where this woman has, oh my gosh, just all kinds of things that she lays out so that she can feel better about what she's doing, and she does her incense around herself and everything else. And I'm just like, okay, this is actually seems like a familiar thing. You have an altar and you place your child on there, so we're a little bit disconnected from what we're actually doing, right? Back in biblical days, here's ritualistic Baal worship. In some look like this: adults would gather around a altar. Infants would be put on a fire alive and offered in sacrifice. Amid everything going on, the men and women would just be going around doing, very adulting things. And that would then propagate, right? Okay, now we got all these people. This is, before any kind of birth control or anything like that, and that would then, they would think that somehow this would make it rain, which is asinine. And then because of that behavior, a lot of the women would have more children, and then they would repeat, the process. So now we've made it. We've sanitized the whole thing to now this lady can just build a little place inside her house to perform basically the same thing. Because I would think that since it's so convenient for her just to go to some place to, kill her child, and then come and place it on an altar, instead of, the whole nastiness of, the fire and everything else. So this is very, and you would think that this would have stopped, but no. We know rumors and other things about, the Bohemian Grove kind of thing, and the big owl and everything else that represents Moloch, which is just another name for Baal. And here we had some people who had actually gotten in there and said they reported a particular opening ceremony as a man-made lake was carried out under the club's mascot, an owl symbolizing worldly wisdom, not godly wisdom, worldly wisdom. 40-foot moss-covered structure, stone and steel, known as the cremation of care. So they're taking all of their cares and worries and everything else, and they're burning them. The ceremony started off with burning an effigy of a wooden skeleton inside a coffin. What does that kind of seem like? Oh, all these things are connected, right? High priestess dressed in red robes sang songs with undertones of homosexuality. Another Texas-based filmmaker, Alex Jones, who had also found his way inside, confirmed all of that. I kind of watched that video. It was extremely creepy and very evil looking and all that. So, and then of course we have our favorite evil person, Hillary Clinton from WikiLeaks, doing, I don't know what she was trying to get something done, and she said with fingers crossed, old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic, be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. So she even understands, all of that, and the owl and all of that, how that all relates. And to make it even worse, you can go to Google, and we have Google Maps. And Google Maps does, the satellite imagery. Well, if we take, this is the White House here, United States Capitol, right there. And if we turn this on and we flip this here, what do we see here in the middle? This is an owl. So all of these things, this worship is still alive and well. Why do you think they are so crazed about, making sure that this keeps going? It's insanity. I can understand the plight of someone who was attacked by someone, had something very bad happen to them, and ends up in that position. Or like the recent 10-year-old or whatever that was attacked by an illegal and had this happen. Right? That's very real. That's very, life-changing, that you didn't choose, you didn't want, that was forced upon you. I can understand that. I've heard people who have, when that happens to them, that they've gone ahead and had the child. The child's been incredible. They've had an incredible life with the child. That child, they took something that was completely, totally horrible and turned it into something amazing. Right? They weren't identified by the bad incident that happened, and they turned it into something amazing and gave that child life. Now you can do that, but that's where, it's where I kind of waver a little bit, because it's been forced upon you. But in the same way, I think a lot of the times, these people that say they've been attacked, was it really that? Every situation is different. Was this just someone you were going out with who suddenly you had an argument and you broke up, and then you found out you were, with child, and so you don't want it? Well, you were the one making the decision. I guess that's the crazy thing. All of this goes away with one set of small personal rules, personal, morals and decisions. All of it goes away, right? Except for, maybe the rape, incest thing, the criminal aspect won't go away, but all the rest of it goes away, right? If you want to have, adult activities, find someone, make a commitment, get married, and then there are no problems, right? Then you two are both can do whatever you want. And if you have, you can, have a few children if you want, or you can do, the guy can get snipped, and then you never have to worry about anything ever again, right? You can decide that together, and then be together, and then, STDs go away, unplanned, all these other pregnancy things that are supposedly, because of bad relationships or whatever they are that's out there, all that goes away. I mean, even the latest, monkeypox thing is like, if you understand that if you find someone, realize that you care about them, realize that you want to spend your life with them, suddenly then you get married and create a monogamous relationship for the rest of your life, all that goes away. Almost all STDs go away, right? I mean, in the end, right? That's the crazy insanity of it all. Is Planned Parenthood, all, STDs, all those kinds of things go away if you just adhere to the marriage morality concept. Right? Then you don't have this woman here doing these things, building an altar. Right? Who knows how many times she has done this. It almost makes me come to tears that she's so numb to what she is doing. She's been told such a complete lie about what's going on. It's so it's insane. It is just insane. So like here, this guy says in his tweet, this is not satire. This person in this video is serious about it. And that's it's disturbing. It is completely disturbing. So, but anyway, what do you think? Is the abortion issue really follow back to Baal worship, Moloch worship? Is that what this is? But just it's been sanitized so that it's not, we can't hear the screams anymore? Or is this lady very, is she okay in doing this? What do you think? You heard my position. You can convince me if I'm wrong, but it's just a little crazy for me. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care.